We got it? Hey, we figured it out. Listen, guys, I build things out of dead trees. I don't know how technology works. Think I'm capable of this kind of obscene ridiculousness? This is why I do it for you guys. We're here. We're live. 5 minutes into a live stream where you guys couldn't hear me. That's wonderful. And now, finally, it's time to pour a little bourbon. How's everybody doing? Everybody all right? Everybody have a good Thanksgiving? How many international folks do we have here that didn't celebrate Thanksgiving? Or hell, how many Americans do we have here who didn't celebrate Thanksgiving? I will tell you this. I was out at my sister's. She lives about 45 minutes away or so. And my mother came down, spent the evening with my niece and nephew, doing the uncle things, riling them up, and then just beating the snot out of them. And then as soon as they got a little too amped up, I would just hand them back to mom and dad and be like, this is your job now. I did what I did best, which is to get them to the point of a sugar high where it's maybe questionable decisions that are being made. Yeah, it looks like we got some folks from around the space getting dumped on with snow right now. Where are you at, Brian, my bad. Let's see. We got Toledo in the house, some good Thanksgiving in Colorado. That had to be nice. I haven't been out to Colorado in a minute. You're originally British, but love to celebrate Thanksgiving here in Maryland. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but to my understanding of how one's national inheritance works, I don't think one can formally be British. I think you're always British, right? Am I wrong in that? Or maybe we're just taking in like the golden umbrella of being an American, and now you're one of us. I'm gonna go for that. Okay, yeah, we got all over the place. Connecticut, Indy. Yeah, I heard the Midwest is getting slammed on. My good buddy, some of you may know Jenny Bauer up in Michigan. I think they got like a foot or something last night. I'm very, very jealous right now. No snow here, but it got cold fast. It's in the 30s here now. So, any Hoosiers, few things tonight to talk about. Obviously, we will do the raffle drawing for the giveaway items. We'll talk about the money that got raised. We'll eat, drink, be merry. But also, we can talk about some woodworking. So if you guys have things that you want to ask questions about, if you guys want to chat about whatever it is, if you got things in your shop that you want to ask specific questions about, I can do my best to answer them. Or if you have questions about the things we're making here, my shop, what's been going on over the last few months. I haven't live streamed to everybody, I don't think, since last winter. So feel free to ask them. And, we can jam. We can just hang. We're going to have a gay old time. Putting together your bench pilot today. I will say this about bench pilot. I know I take heat on the tubes of you for using the Origin in general, and also bench pilot. And people are like, well, you just took a thing that was kind of CNC and made it a regular CNC. No, I did not. Here's why I think the bench pilot is amazing. Because it's still the Origin and it can still do joinery. And that's the type of thing that is really like, I use that for mortise and tenons more than any other process for mortise and tenons at this point. It is phenomenal. And to be able to do certain things that just take a long time. Like the other day I was in here and I wanted to make a new sugar bowl. I didn't make any video about it. I didn't make any content around it. I just wanted to make a new sugar bowl for the kitchen. And in order to do that, that cylindrical design that you guys saw, it's basically this, but like a massive version. It's like that thick and substantially larger. And to sit there and just mill circles for like 2 hours is a waste of my time. So to be able to just do that on the side while I'm still working on other things, it's friggin' brilliant, man. If you have any interest in using the Origin and any interest in kind of mechanizing processes, so that you can be doing other things simultaneously and don't want to have the major footprint of a CNC or want to use the Origin for joinery, like I said, bench pilot's phenomenal. That's my honest opinion. You can crucify me for it if you so like. Oh, let's see. I have monetization on. Oh, I didn't realize that was a thing. Here, let me turn that off because we're just hanging. Hopefully that will kill the ads. Let me know if that doesn't. Thank you for letting me know. Oh, let's see what else is going on. Thank you for opening up during the cabinet build. Help me work through losing my dad and figuring out what to do with his tools and stock of lumber. I'm really glad to hear that, man. Listen, we're all human. Life is a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. There's a lot of things to be grateful for, but also the reality is it sucks sometimes. It's just dog shit from time to time. And I am of the opinion, I don't even know if it's an opinion. I think it's maybe a compulsion more than anything else. But when I am in difficult moments in my life, like I need to make things. I just need to expel those things through the physical activity of creating. And I think it's important to also be able to talk about that. And I was really glad, because I was nervous about putting out that video, to be completely honest. I was really glad that people, on the whole, it seemed, enjoyed it, appreciated it, and connected with it on a level. So I'm glad that encouraged you to get in the shop and figure out what to do with his tools. Those types of things are like, you can't get rid of those things. So keep them, use them, find places for them to exist in your life. That's a wonderful thing. Oh, let's see. To stain or not to stain? Ooh, I'm going to be doing some projects out of cherry. I prefer natural wood, but wondering if cherry would benefit from a dye or a stain. This is completely opinion based. This is just my particular opinion. The only wood, generally speaking, that I ever color is walnut, and that's to prevent it from changing color down the road. So I will tint it a darker color to prevent it from getting that orange. Cherry's lovely, man. Let it ride, let it shine, let it do what it does best, which is get like super warm and toasty and inviting. And I think it can be overwhelming if you use too much of it. But I think for furniture scale objects, just let it shine, let it do what it does best. But again, that's only my opinion. Let's see. The thing that you and Melissa built to, I'm assuming you mean Larissa, and that got auto-corrected, on our channel, inspired me to build a small cabinet for stuff around the wood burning stove. Love that, man. Dude, that cabinet, that one, boop. That was like, we talked about that, I think, in the video, or maybe I cut it out in the editing process. It turned out way better than we expected it to. It's a really lovely little object. And I was just saying today, we were working all day today on our next video. I'm not going to share with you guys what that is because it's a surprise. Hopefully it's not a trash video. Nailed it. But we were talking about how in the background of my shots, it's really nice to have that, especially when like the morning light is coming in and raking across that wall. It's just been a blank white wall, and there's nothing harder to shoot than a blank white wall. So it's been a delightful add to the shop. And people really liked Gus. That was a lot of fun to see too. Let's see what else. I haven't even had any bourbon yet. I haven't had any bourbon on the live stream, Larry. I was intentionally non-specific. Let's see. When finishing cherry, how do you eliminate blotching? I don't know. I don't want to call it a myth. It is a real thing that happens. But really what that is that's just the natural curl of cherry. And it's irregular. And at some point, like, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 30 years ago, somebody wrote an article for Fine Woodworking. I don't know who it was. And they said, they called it blotching. And that, like, it's an unfortunate misnomer, in my opinion. Every wood is an organic material and it has variations in it. And part of our job as designers and craftspeople who work in wood is to highlight the material in all of its natural beauty. So just let it shine, let it ride, man. You know, if somebody doesn't like it, you know, there are other species that don't have that same kind of configuration. So I would say, and I'm not trying to be snarky, this is a genuine answer. If you are trying to eliminate blotching in cherry, use something else that doesn't have blotching. Like Swiss pear is delightful wood. It really is. Similar tone. Would be cost prohibitive to build like a dining table out of it, but it's an option for smaller pieces. About to start a chair build based on Nakashima's Konoe design. Hell yeah. Any recommendations on joinery between the seat and the legs to make me feel better about being a dude in a precarious looking chair? I don't know what joinery he used. Larry, do you know? No? This might be taken slightly as sacrilege, but my first inclination is the Maloof joint. Right? She's over there. I'm not just talking to a wall and pretending like she's my invisible friend. Aesthetically, I don't know if that would work, but from a structural perspective, it's bomb-proof. Yeah, look up the Maloof joint. But I don't know what joint he used. That's a good question. It's very possible. Remember, I know we hold Nakashima in the upper echelon, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be there, but remember that he, along with everybody else in that period of studio furniture movement, were self-taught, or they were taught kind of casually by cabinet makers around the area. So it would not surprise me if Nakashima used basically a half lap with a dowel and some screws. Yeah? I'm not asking you to confirm nor deny, but like that's a very realistic possibility. So for what it's worth. Let's see. It'll be hey, Sean's in the house, just dropping bombs on White Oak for no reason, even though nobody's talking about White Oak. No, this is a live stream on YouTube. Yeah. Sean would never give me money to view my content. No, although he might give me money to make fun of me in a live stream. I could see him doing that. I could see him dropping $5 to become a patron for the night. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, so speaking of the High West, this is the first time I've had the bourbon. I've had their rye, which is lovely, and I just took my first sip, and I gotta say, it's like sweeter. It's pretty smooth. It's a blended, right? Like I feel like it definitely yeah, it's a blend. It's nice. It's definitely on the sweeter side, which I don't mind. I like a sweet bourbon every now and again. Their double rye is amazing. So this is a nice bottle. I'm not mad at this. Let's see. Have I played with a laser cutter? So I haven't played with the lower end laser cutters. My only experience with laser cutters was when I was working in a cabinet shop, whatever it was, close to 10 years ago. And we were doing these large conference tables for Fortune 500 companies. And I was the veneer guy, so I would veneer the whole tabletop, but sometimes I would have to pull the program and run the laser cutter to do the logos, the emblems, et cetera, et cetera. And those, I think the technology has changed because those were very, very finicky. And I mean, the footprint was probably like 4x6 and massive machines. So I don't know much about the newer laser cutters, but from what I have seen, your question specifically is about like, are they good for templating rather than CNC? I don't think I would spend my money on a laser cutter for templating. I think a CNC in the woodworking space is more versatile for a wide array of applications, but also usually if I'm making a template, I'm still going to make a template by hand. It's just how I was taught. And unless it's if it's a 2-part form, etc., then I'll probably use the origin. But other than that, most of the time, templating it by hand is fine for me. But that's because I don't have a laser cutter, maybe. What bourbon I'm sipping on that High West, dog? Oh, let's see. Any tips for working with Madrone? Don't. I've never worked with it. My understanding of it is that it's very dense, yeah, and sounds a little bit like a nightmare. But that's, yeah. So I've never worked with it. I don't have any tips for you, brother. Sorry. Oh, let's see. Someone else said Maloof joined as well. Yeah, I feel like that'll get if nothing else, it will get the job done. One of my top 3 woods to use in a moisture-prone area, such as bathrooms. Ooh, that's a good question. Like my instinct was to say the obvious number 1 is cedar, but like, boy, howdy, is that an aromatic experience. Pine will hold up pretty well. I don't know where you're located, but redwood will hold up really well as well if you can get your hands on it. Though it's obviously getting more and more difficult to get your hands on. I mean, any wood will hold up if you seal it right. So if that's the case, maybe even oak. I don't know. If you're talking about standalone pieces like sink vanity or something, I don't think it matters. You can finish it in a way where it's not going to be affected by the moisture, or maybe I should phrase it another way. Assuming that it's your daily use bathroom, the moisture is going to be consistently inconsistent. So like assuming multiple showers a day, if you live in a house with other people, it will reach an equilibrium where I don't think I would be worried about it taking damage. If it was a wall paneling or something, that's a different story. Oh, let's see. Hey, Brian Rufo's in the house. What's up, cowboy? Oh man, guys, Rufo and I went to college together, so he's known me a long time, and please don't ask him questions. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Oh, let's see. Any tips? No, I already hit that one. I want to redo. Where did that one go? I want to redo my whole dining room. This chat is jumping around a bit. My apologies. I'll say this in 5-ish or so minutes. We'll jump into the giveaway. But I just purchased a 110-year-old craftsman style home. It's spectacular shape, but the wood trim could use some TLC. Any recommendations for refinishing the doors? Oof. Refinishing. Finishing is a whole different category, and refinishing is an entirely different field. Door like trim and whatnot that can't be pulled out, that's going to be an issue. But there's so many variables there. I don't know what it's finished with. I don't know if it was a film building finish that you need to remove and then reapply. I don't know if it's an oil-based finish that you can essentially just clean the surface and scuff it and apply a new finish. I don't know what the material is. So there's a lot of variables there. I guess the only advice I would say is do your homework, find out what's on the doors and the trim and whatnot, and run samples. Sorry, I don't have a better answer than that. Oh, let's see. Have you seen the electrical doweling jigs? What are your thoughts on those compared to the ever famous domino? I'm not sure I know what you mean. Are you talking about like the Foreman jigs in a cabinet shop? I'll say this. Everything has its place. If it didn't have a place, it wouldn't have been invented. Or maybe a different way to say that is, if it didn't have a place, it wouldn't have succeeded enough to the point where you know about it. So even though like pocket holes take a lot of heat on the internet, and fine, everybody can have their opinion about it. But if you've ever worked in a production setting, or if you've been doing, like if you've done built-ins, for example, how you attach the back of a cabinet in particular circumstances does not matter, because that will never be seen for another 50 years until somebody tears it out. So like pocket holes have a great space. Dominoes are phenomenal for a lot of different things. And again, I'm not entirely sure what jig you're asking about there, but I'm sure it has a place. And anybody tells you that, they're a better woodworker than you because they've never used a dowel has never worked in a professional setting. Full stop. Let's see. I was given an entire tree of rough sawn black locust. Hell yeah, dude. Black locust is no joke. It's no joke, and it's worth. I hope you build some outdoor things with that, because black locust will hold up beautifully. Let's see. Retiring for the last time, I think, moving to Tennessee and setting up a shop in an unfinished basement. Any advice for setting up a new shop in a basement with a garage door? Take your time. Get in there, start making things. Like, bring in the bare minimum. What a lot of people do when they go in to set up a shop is they plan the whole thing out. They get like the little cutout boards, and they move the pieces around, and they pipe in all the dust collection, and they get everything set up, and they take like a year to set it up. And then they make a couple of objects, and they go like, oh, I didn't think about how this thing was going to affect this thing. And now I don't have room to do the project I'm working on. So bring in the bare minimum, make some things, tinker around just for like a year, like tinker around with it, make smaller objects, use whatever kind of mobile dust collection you have, whether it's a shop vac or like a standalone tower like I have, and just figure out the flow of the space, and where your machines ultimately live will kind of reveal itself. That's my approach. That's how we approached this space. We knew that we wanted the bench space over here and the machine space over there, and we had a rough idea of where everything will live. But in the 3 years we've been here, we've moved around the machine portion of the room a half dozen times at least. So I would say just get in there and start making things, and it will become obvious to you where particular machines should live and which machine should be stationary and which machine should be mobile. That's what I would say. Do I prefer chisels at 25 or 30 degrees? Don't care. Whatever you prefer, that's the right answer. All of my chisels are sharpened at 35, and my bench planes are sharpened at 35. The only chisels that I have that are sharpened at 30 are, I have a couple of paring chisels, the super long ones. But other than that, it's just everything's at 35, because nothing matters. As long as it's sharp, doesn't matter. All right. Let me answer like 2 or 3 more questions. Do you ask students to read a tape for a project you're teaching? I don't think I understand the question. So no. Do you have a video-based course for one of your whiskey cabinets? I don't. If you're a patron, I do have my plans. If you're a paying patron, they're on Patreon for free. Otherwise, you can purchase them at whatever, I think $5, and they're just the SketchUp file, so you can kind of manipulate it and tear it apart, and you can use the free SketchUp version to do that. But I don't have any video-based courses. I do have. I teach them in person. I think I'm going to. This is information will come out soon. But I think I'm doing my coopered whiskey cabinet at Mark Adams this year, and I think there are probably some people in here who will be there. So I think that's the one, if I remember correctly, that I'm going to be doing at Mark Adams this year, which will be a fun one. And I think this isn't announced yet, but if I recall correctly, at Wendell Castle, I'll be doing the textured whiskey cabinet in September, October, something like that, next fall, which will be upstate in Rochester, New York. Yeah, Rochester. Yeah, somewhere in that region. All right, let's see. Let's go one more question, and then we'll get to the drawing information. And then I can always come back to questions later. I'm in Northern Ireland, and we'll be making a 4-foot diameter tabletop from sequoia. How the hell did you get sequoia in Ireland? Do you have sequoia? You don't have sequoia trees over there, do you? Anyway, would ash be a suitable material for the base, and would it need to have 4 supports below the legs, and how wide? 4 foot's a pretty big diameter, but you could do it with a pedestal. So it really, in that particular situation, it's really about how you leverage the farthest parts of the tabletop to redirect the weight to the center pedestal. And I'm not suggesting that you should do a pedestal table. My point is, it kind of doesn't matter, because you could build a 4-foot pedestal table. Let me make sure that I understand your question. Would ash be a suitable material? Ash is fantastic. Absolutely. It's strong. It's sturdy. That'll get the job done. And would it need to have 4 supports below legs, and how wide? Yeah, so you could do a traditional square base, but it doesn't necessarily need that, is what I'm saying. It's just about how you it's like building a house, right? Your goal in effectively like building a roof or a roof structure is to figure out how to redirect the weight that sits on the roof structure to the structural walls, to the load-bearing walls. And you're doing the exact same thing with a table. You're just redirecting the weight that's on top of the table into the legs. Or in the case that I'm talking about, using arms and arches to redirect that back to the center, so that all of that weight can go directly into the ground and the tabletop won't sag. That's all I'm talking about. Okay, let's see. What do you do with a student that can't read a tape measure? I don't know that I've ever had that happen. I'm sure it has, and I just haven't noticed. Ask them politely to learn. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, sequoia is the U.S. West Coast. That's very curious that you were able to get some in Ireland. Okay, all right. We could do questions all night, but I do want to talk about the giveaway a little bit. And when I'm done with that, we can dive back into some of the questions a little bit. So, first of all, let me grab those items, because I am constantly ill prepared, and they're sitting way over in the corner. So give me just a second. Go pour yourself another beverage. Hey-o. That was a clamp. All right, we got a box and a cutting board. Let me go grab the big container. Okay. Oh boy. That's the stuff. All right. So, let's talk about this a little bit. So this has been running for, I think it's 4 weeks, right? I think it was the last bit, or maybe it was 3 weeks. Doesn't really matter. Some number of weeks, somewhere in the range of a month. And the reason, and I know I said this in the video, I don't know how well I articulated it, so I'll articulate it briefly again. But for those of you who don't know Nancy Drum, she is legitimately one of the baddest bitches I know. She's just one of those people who is like, from the very beginning, like we've been internet friends like since close to the beginning of my Instagram journey. So we're talking like 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. And it just so happens to be that she is upstate in New York, close to where I grew up. I grew up in Poughkeepsie, and she's about 45 to an hour north of there. And one of the first times we ever chatted, I happened to be driving through where she's at. She told me to stop at this local farm stand that I didn't know. And then a few days later, she texted me again. And she was like, I was just in that farm stand wearing the Stay Humble, Make Something shirt. And somebody else walked in and they were wearing the same shirt. So we had a nice moment there. And then through the years, we've just become buddies. We chatted. And when she came up with the idea for the restoration station for Maker Camp, what she pitched me on was I want to create a space where people can learn to restore tools, can learn some basic woodworking techniques. And it's a space where everybody feels welcome to come in, to explore, to not know a thing. And it's a comfortable space to kind of be a novice or be somebody who doesn't look like me, right? And then it's grown over the last 3 years where, like, I think the first year there was maybe like 5 or 6 of us working the booth. And it got a lot of traction because free tools. And again, Nancy pays for the tools out of pocket. I think she splits the space with one of the other guys who helps run the event, and then pays for all of the like she puts us all up. So she pays for all of that out of pocket too. And it's grown over the years where I think this year we had, like, I didn't do a head count, but it felt like somewhere between like 12 and 15 people working the booth from all over the place. My favorite thing from this year, if you guys know Lindsay Woodbrain, I love Lindsay to pieces. She's one of the kindest people on the planet. And Frank Straza came and worked the booth with us this year too. And Frank, if you guys know, I mean, Frank's a legend. He's a legend. He's an incredible dude. And every bit of admiration that he's garnered in the woodworking community is earned. He's an incredibly skilled individual. And Lindsay and Frank and myself stayed in the trailer together and became like bunk bros. It was a wild weekend. That's all. I'm going to leave you guys on that. It was a good time, and I love Frank all the deeper for it now. But all of that is kind of beyond the point. I want to see the restoration station continue, and I don't have any reason to believe that it would stop, but I do think that it's an important space to exist in kind of the woodworking world. And so I was really, really glad to see that you guys kind of connected with that message. And I will say this, incredibly, there have been, over the last 3 to 4 weeks, 1,842 tickets bought. And I had no idea how much money we were going to raise. We raised, I just did the math 2 minutes before we got on this call. I did the final tally, $5,001. That's strong. That's strong. Listen, 5,000 ain't no joke, man. I was really, really happy to see that. So thank you guys for buying tickets. There were a couple of people, some of whom are in this call, and I won't mention any names because I don't think that they would appreciate that, but who bought tickets either multiple times or bought tickets and then later on Venmo'd me more money and was like, I don't need more tickets. Just put the money to the cause. So you guys are wonderful people, and I love and appreciate all of you for doing that. Now, that said, I need to pour another bourbon, and then we can do some raffling, and then we can get back to questions. Let's see. It's still good, guys. I'm going to do, all right, so that's a good question. I don't have a wheel. I wish I had a wheel. I'm going to do a random number generator. I don't know if I can share my screen. Given the technical difficulties that we had earlier on in the call, I'm not going to attempt it. But like I said, there's 1,842 entries. I have everybody in the in a spreadsheet, basically in number order. And then I'll pull a random number generator and figure out whose number is attached to that number, and that will be the person who wins. Does that make sense? That everybody feel good about that? This is this is like big stakes. This is like, you know, you can listen. The people would love to hear from you. Larry's over here like she wants to get in on the action. She's a gambling degenerate. You can also be a good person to, you know, be a second pair of eyes and make sure that the people know that I'm not lying about this. I mean, that's fair. They should trust you more, probably. Okay, let's see. Larry's pouring herself a beverage. She's in the house. What's popping? Okay, so you can see I've got a spreadsheet here.
Yes.
It has all the way down to 1.
Okay.
And it's got everybody's name and email attached to their Patreon account.
Can confirm.
And then if we scroll all the way down, a lot of entries.
This is honestly thrilling. Okay.
How many entries do we have?
1,842.
1,842. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Google, random number generator. I'm going to put this on a stable surface. True random. This feels more complicated than it needs to be. I don't need all of this. No. I just need a number generator. All right, let's see what's going on here. Great.
Ooh.
Okay, so I'm going to put in a minimum of 1. Let's make sure that that's accurate. I think it starts at like 3.
It does start
okay,
at 3.
All right. So I'm going to put in a minimum of 3, and I'm going to go 18. It was 42, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm not using Excel. I'm using Google Sheets because I don't know how technology works. All right. So here's what we'll do. I am going to do the first giveaway for, we'll do the box first. All right. We'll save the big ticket item for last because drama, right? I'll do this one first. So this object and this object are for paying patrons only. So here's what we'll do. I don't know who's paying and who's not right now. So I will draw a name and then I will email that person. Or I guess I could just cross-reference it and find out. We could do that.
Yeah, we can do it in real time.
We could do that in real time.
You might have to do this a bunch of times. Is that what I'm
going to do it 3 times.
Okay.
Okay. Assuming that I don't get unlucky and have to give this to somebody else. All right, let's hit the number. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 235. That's a low number.
Attention.
All right.
You're way past it. Yeah.
Let's go. 235 is Joe Welsh. I happen to know Joe quite well, and I know he's a paying patron. So, Joe, you get the box. This is like a ghost maple, spalted maple, something of that nature. And this is I'm blanking.
Yay, Joe.
It is something. It's wood and it's red. and it's lifeful. So congrats, Joe. All right. Here's what we'll do for the second one. Tell me if you think that this is fair or unfair.
Are you going to remember?
I'm going
Who's
to.
associated with
That is
each
excellent. This is why you have smart friends around. All right. I'm jotting it down. So box is Joe, and I'll just write number 235. Beautiful.
Perfect.
And then we'll do the cutting board. Almost. That was close. All right. So tell me if you think this is fair or not. I think for this one, I'll hit generate 3 times. And then the third one is what we roll with. Is that fair or unfair?
Being spicy. I don't know. I think it's the same. It's just random. It doesn't matter if you press it once or 3 times.
All right. We'll go 1, 2, 3. This is staying low number.
It is.
All right. Number 426 for the cutting board. Let's find out. 426 is Aaron Wood. What's good? Also, I happen to know a paying patron. So
Amazing.
Aaron wins the checkerboard. Now, I don't know if this is a cutting board. I don't know if it's a serving board. Like, part of me wants to put like little rubber feet on it to make sure it doesn't warp. But then also with cutting board, I use both sides.
Sure.
I don't know. You know what, Aaron? You know what I do know? You know how to make things, dog. So if you want to put feet on it, I'm going to let you do that. I will. I don't remember where you are. I want to say Texas or Virginia. One of the two.
Those are
or neither.
places?
There's no way to know. California. I wasn't even close. So I'll get that shipped out to you in probably this upcoming week, buddy. So congrats. Okay. All right.
Write it down.
That's why I keep her around. All right. Aaron, and it is number 426. Fantastic. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna do a quick experiment.
Oh my god.
Because I wanna like, it's a random number generator, but the first 4 have been very low numbers.
Below.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting all over the place now.
Great.
Okay, great. Okay. How many rolls of the dice do we do for the big money object? Pick a number.
1.
Just the. Okay. All right. All right.
1.
Here we go.
I'm so nervous
For
for all of you.
And the winner of the shipping crate and the cabinet within said shipping crate. Big drum roll. 1155.
1155.
Let's find out. Whew. Almost.
Yeah.
1155. Jim Kulko. I don't know Jim. Jim, what's good, cowboy? I hope you're in the chat. Let's find out. Jim, if you're in the chat, my man, let me know. Let me know where you're at, buddy boy. That's exciting stuff. So, all right. I'm going to see. I remember this time to write it down. Third time's a charm. All right. Cabinet. Jesus. Jim. Kulko. Jim Kulko. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. 1155.
Whew.
That's big, exciting stuff, man. It was lagging or you started slurring. You know what? Both, I think. All right. I want to know. I'm assuming Jim is not in the chat right now, but I will shoot him an email. Let's find out. I wonder if I can find out where he's at. I'm just curious more than anything. Boop, boop, boop. Jim Kulko. Oh, I don't have shipping information on here. Jim.
We'll find out.
Congrats, brother. Congrats. I hope that you have a good bottle of bourbon to put in there, buddy boy.
Well done.
Thanks, friend.
That was so professional.
That was so profesh, and I only slurred one time. Oh boy. Okay. And like I said, guys, $5,001. I love that we got to 5,001. That made me unreasonably happy. But that's a nice chunk of change to throw at Nancy to kind of help alleviate some of the costs to keep running the restoration station and keep inviting people in to learn the basics of woodworking. And I will say this, those barrel planes I got from Nancy. She gave me those as a birthday present last year. And then 2 years ago, I still haven't done anything with it, even though I promised her I would. Oh, she gave me this compass plane. And this, I do fully plan on doing a video about this and restoring this thing. But I mean, so if you don't know what a compass plane is, this is how they would plane exterior and interior curves back in the olden days. So this is a Sargent, but basically it's just a regular old plane, but it's got this mechanism on here. So as I turn this gear changes, and then this thin, flexible metal steel base will turn into all kinds of curves, so I can get in there and plane a different surface. It's just a brilliant tool. You know, it's one of those things that we're like, I don't know, am I going to use it? Do I want it though? You know, I don't think that's entirely dissimilar from like a good scrub plane. There's only so many times you're going to use a good scrub plane, but when you have it, it's nice. It's nice to have. So, that's incredible. That's exciting. I know Joe is close enough where you can just come pick up the box. Aaron, I'll ship you out the cutting board soon. And Jim, I haven't seen him in the chat, I don't think, but I will certainly let him know. So let's see. Let's pour a little bit more bourbon, and I don't know, another 10, 15 minutes. We can answer some more questions. We can talk shop. So what do you guys want to talk about? Let's see. You find out your shopmate fed their Mogwai clan. I don't know what that means. What tool are you grabbing and what tactic will you use to defend yourself from a shop infestation of knee-high gremlins? You know, my first instinct is on the other side of that wall is where we hang all of the table saw blades. And I think that's definitely, like, I'm grabbing that because that's both, like, I can, you know, hold them and kind of, but I can also, it's a projectile as well. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, I did get a new piece done just recently. I don't know where the camera's at. And it's this guy, Oscar Garcia, crap, what's the name of the studio? Soul Inc. It's in Asbury Park. He's incredible. He does incredible work. And just like a really, you know, some tattoo artists are really good at their work, but not very interesting people. I was in the chair for 8 hours, which is by far the longest session I've ever had done. And we chatted for probably 6+ hours. Like, he's just a genuinely really interesting dude, really, really nice guy. And had a blast doing it. And I mean, this was a week ago and it's already healed up. So he knows what he's doing. He's good. Are there any challenges to using rosewood as a veneer? Ooh, is that you didn't see your face, but her face was the sound I made. Is it, I'm assuming this is commercial cut, right? Do you have any experience veneering with rosewood? Yeah, neither do I. My inclination is to say that it's so oily that it's going to give you issues. So I would maybe consider. Well, I would probably consider moving to a different material. But if you are set on using rosewood, wipe it down. I don't remember. Is it acetone? I think it's acetone to clean off the oils. You can find that out just with a quick Google. But definitely wipe it down good and give it a little bit of a sand and, pray to the dryads. That's all I got for you, buddy. Let's see. How's the new bandsaw coming? Oh, all right. So I spent a day and a half running a new line for it. I had to run a new 40 amp line. I will say this: I don't do electrical often anymore because I've been out of the construction game for a long time. But every time I go to buy new line, I'm constantly blown away by how expensive it is. I dropped $600 just in materials to run a line. I needed about 55 feet of line, which of course meant that I needed to buy a 125-foot roll. And I had to sheath it and everything else. But everything is ready to go. I bought a VFD from Jack Forsberg, I want to say. A lot of people recommended him, and I'm just waiting for that to come in, and then I can just jump from the line I ran to the bandsaw, and it'll be rip-roaring and ready to go. And I'm very excited because even today, as Larissa and I were working on our next project, I had to resaw a bunch of beech, and it would have saved me a huge amount of time just to be able to go to the bandsaw instead of having to pre-cut with the table saw. Let's see. Have you made staves? It's almost impossible to find cooperage lessons. Yes. What do you mean? What are you applying the staves to? I make staves for like coopering work all the time, but I don't make barrels. And those they're related, but different. Let's see, acetone to work on antique plane parts. I think that's, yeah. What classes are you holding close to Central Jersey? I don't think I'm teaching locally at all. I don't think in 2025. Sorry. Let's see. What's the best way to make a mortise for your L-shaped tenon without a domino? Simple router jig. Like you can. So if you've not seen them, they're effectively like you can make a router table or a mortising jig that looks not dissimilar from the workstation. So basically, you get yourself a lip, and then in that case, that horizontal surface would extend past to provide leverage, and then you just have a vertical surface that you can clamp your workpiece to, and then you can route all kinds of mortises in whatever orientation you need to. That's what we used for many years before I started using that thing. Let's see. Hey, Newman's in the house. What's good, cowboy? Let's see. What's the best way to learn design theory as a new furniture maker? Excellent question. Here's what I will say. I tell people this all the time. There are the book that I think is the most complete new text. So it's not a book that's 200 years old and difficult to get through. Is by Hand and Eye by George Tolkien and Jim Walker. I hope I got that right. I may have gotten those names reversed. But it's a brilliant book. It's still very dense, but it has all the information you need to know to design furniture well. The better version of it, in my opinion, the book that has everything that you need to know and none of the superfluous stuff, is by Hound and I, which is the same book, but it's just Tolkien explaining the concepts that are in by Hand and I to his dog. So by Hound and I. It's basically furniture design for dummies. Anything that you need to know is in that book, with the exception of the elements and principles of design, which you can Google. You can also find a free download on my website. And that's it. That's the whole game. That's furniture design right there. Let's see. I've been running into a wall on hard projects right before I do a final glue up and finishing. How do I stop my brain from doing this? Oh, buddy, we all do it. That's not a thing. Yeah, like she's nodding her head over there in agreement. Anytime you put a lot of hours, a lot of effort, a lot of emotional expenditure into a project, you can get to a point where it's hard to, like, you're afraid to mess up the glue up, or you're afraid that like the coloration on the finish is going to be wrong. The way that I get past that, and really what we're talking about now is just like therapy. So this is highly personal. But the way that I navigate that is there's two things that I keep in mind. Number one is whatever I'm doing work related. If I mess it up, it's not going to alter the course of my life. So it's not that important. Right. If I mess up a box for a client, or if I put I don't know, if I screw up the finish a little bit here and I have to repair it, or like if a client is upset with me because X, Y, or Z, that it's upsetting, it's frustrating, but that's not ultimately a reflection on my value as a human being. It's not going to alter the trajectory of my life. The other thing that I keep in mind is there's only one piece that I'll ever make that will be the best piece I've ever made. And I don't know if I've made it or not. I can still strive to make the best piece I've ever made. But at the end of the day, when my entire body of work is complete, there's only one piece that I'll have made that will be the best piece. And everything else is just an object in my portfolio. And once I started like sitting with that thought, then it became a lot less scary to have a piece that is pretty good, that's not perfect, because all you can do is get up to the plate and swing the stick, right? If you put the ball in play, you can't be mad that somebody made a great defensive play. That's baseball, dog, and I think it's the same thing. Like, I'm going to give it my best effort, but ultimately, if it's not the best thing I've ever made, that's fine. That's the name of the game. I don't know if that helps, but that was an honest answer. Let's see. How can you not get the power company to put in 3-phase in your space? I was really surprised that we don't have 3-phase in here. But I mean, this building's, 150 years old, probably closer to 200 years old. So I'm literally looking at, so we've got the kill, we've got the transformer, we've got the current box that we use, and then we have 2 more boxes above and 2 more boxes on the other side. And if I'm a gambling man, I think one of those is 3-phase, but it's probably severely outdated and they weren't willing to run new power in here. That's my guess. Let's see. I was laughing at the Sequoia question. The UK does like we do with non-indigenous plants. They got Sequoia plant. They did plant Sequoia in the UK. That's wild. I had no idea that was the case. Huh. Okay. Looking forward to the next Woodworking's Hard video. I think it's gonna be a good one. We got some fun things done today. We did. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. What blade would you use for resawing on the bandsaw, wood slicer, resaw, king, etc.? Truth is, whatever it is, 15 plus years into my career, I still don't really understand bandsaw blades. I always use the same blade for resawing. So anything over a 1/2 inch, I just get 3 TPI hook tooth. That's all. And it works fine. I think there's probably some micro things in there that I don't know about. It gets the job done. What bandsaw did I get and why? So I got a new let's go on a field trip. So this has been my bandsaw for the last, God, I think I might have bought that in like 2012, 2013. So it's been around for a while, and it has been a trooper for me. It's a 17-inch wheel, but it's only got a horse and a half motor on it, and it's only got a 10.5-inch resaw capacity. So it's slightly underpowered, and it's not, for the work that I do, I would love to have a larger resaw capacity. So recently I got this behemoth, and it's used, and I got it from my buddy Bill Burkle over at WTB Woodworking. Phenomenal human being. And this thing is, what do we got? A 24-inch, 7.5 horsepower 3-phase. So I went from 17-inch to 24-inch. More importantly, though, I went from a horse and a half to 7.5, and it's got a 16-inch resaw capacity. So this thing is, I mean, it's a boat, right? It's a tank. And I'm very excited to get this thing fired up, because the plan is right now, probably in the next, sometime in December, we're going to move that table to the other side of the room and build a new press table. Move the old bandsaw over to here and put a small blade on it. And then this thing is just going to be a workhorse for resawing and milling up big material. And I know I'm a nerd. I know that that's the type of thing that only nerds get excited about. But guys, we've been talking about this for 3 years, investing in a new bandsaw. And that opportunity just came up, and it was immediately like, yes, of course, let's make it happen. So I'm very excited to have the ability to, like not get bogged down when resawing, or like have something that's powerful enough that I can actually resaw veneers in dense woods, and not lose a boatload of material. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. By hand and I, put that on your Christmas list for sure. Human Dimensions book is helpful in design. Oh, that's interesting. It is? Yeah. I don't know that one. Is that where they pull all it? I have been looking for that, because I have sheets. So Tim Rousseau was he taught chair design when I was in school to our class, and he had these handouts that are all about the ergonomics of chairs. And I wonder if that's where he pulled it. I've literally been looking for that since I was in school. What's the name of it? Human Dimensions. If this is true, I'm going to literally order this right now. Human Dimensions and Interior Space. Is that the one? Human Dimensions and Interior Space? It looks to be. I'm going to buy this book right now. Sold. That's a great resource. Thank you, brother. Let's see. Where did I put my... Hold on. I misplaced my bourbon. You got to have priorities. Oh, no. All right. Excuse me. I'm going to pour one more, and then we'll wrap up shortly. So, your trick is to call something version 1, and if improvements get made to version 2. That's a good way to think of it too, right? It's everything is iterative. Yeah, George Walker and Jim Tolpin. So I got it right, I think. Let's see. I think I'm Human Dimensions and Interior Space. I'm legit. I'm going to order that tonight. That's brilliant. All right. Let's go. Do you have any plans in building a chair? Dude, I have been wanting to get back at a chair for, this is not exaggeration, probably 4 or 5 years. I just haven't had the time to do it. I have two very distinct ideas for chairs. And I'm hoping that the progress is being made on the door. That's what I'm doing right now. That client has been incredible, like saint level patient with me on that piece. Because I hadn't found the idea, but now I'm punching it in the face. I'm contending with the boogeyman, and that thing's gonna get done. And on the other side of that, I have a couple of play things I want to do, but one of the things that I'm hoping that I have time to do next year, I don't want to put a timestamp on it necessarily, is to get back at a chair. The other thing that personally I'm very excited about is Larissa and I and some other friends are going down to Greg Pennington's, and we're going to go take a chair class. And if you know Greg Pennington at all, like, he's not only an incredible chair maker, an incredible human being, and I'm very excited to go. I've never, like, we've been internet friends for years, but I've never gotten a chance to spend time with him. So I'm very excited to go do that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, let's see. I've been avoiding going into the shop and seeing your live. I'm deciding I'm going into the shop tonight. Get the hell out of here. Sign off right now and go make a thing, my guy. Go do the thing. Headed to Maine after Christmas to visit CFC. Hell yeah, dude. Mentioned a space to buy secondhand tools. I can't remember what the name of it. Liberty Tools. Liberty Tools is 45-ish away from CFC. They basically collect and sell old tools. And I will say the market for used tools, while I don't know what it is right at this moment, it has been increasingly getting hotter. And I think, if I remember correctly, they get their shipments in on Saturday mornings. So you might want to get over there, late Saturday morning, around lunchtime or so, before like the pickers come and grab all of the stuff. But like, I've found tools over there for, anywhere between $20 and $70 that are borderline functional off the shelf and take a couple hours of TLC to get them running. So that's a brilliant space. Definitely go check. If nothing else, it's just a fun space to go walk around for a couple hours. Let's see. What's your private work versus YouTube work ratio? Oh, that's an interesting question. Incorrect. Oh, the ratio is incorrect. Well, that's part of the reason I think that's an interesting question, is because it's not like client work to personal work is one question, but YouTube to personal work is a different question, right? I am in the position, and sometimes it's enviable and other times it's not, where I pay my bills based on what I make. And while I still occasionally come in here and make something that I don't film, I think coming back to that emotional need to just like make things sometimes and like be in a space where I know I'm competent, most of the time it makes more sense for me to just film it and figure out how to tell a story afterward. Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you this. This is why my YouTube videos aren't as good as other people's, because I'm making the thing, and I'm not, oftentimes, not always, oftentimes I'm not thinking about the video. I'm thinking about the object, and then I get done with the object and I have to figure out how to stitch together a video, which is it's a terrible way to run a YouTube channel. So it doesn't directly answer your question. The question, or the direct answer, is probably 95% of the things I make, I put on the internet, because it's not so cumbersome that keeps me from making things. But there are things, like I started making a cabinet for these Japanese chisels that I've had for a while last night. And I didn't film any of it, and I won't film any of it, I don't think. I put up a quick story, but that's about it. But yeah, it's Like if there was ever a thing that I wasn't going to film and put on the internet, it would have been the walnut cabinet. But then I also have like I contend with the reality that I think it's probably also helpful for you guys sometimes to see me making the thing and not thinking about the video, right? Right? I could be delusional. You guys could just be like, shut up. It's not that important. I don't know. Let's see. What style of chair am I thinking about? Let's go. We'll do like another 5-ish minutes. What style of chair am I thinking about? At Greg's, I'll make whatever Greg wants to teach. That doesn't bother me. Did we? What did we pick? Not the Democratic chair, right? It wasn't the Democratic chair?
No, it's like a low back modern Windsor.
A low back modern Windsor. Okay. We'll see how difficult a student I want to be. But as far as my particular ideas, they're concept based, you know, like I have an idea for a chair that looks roughly like a man sitting on the ground, and then you're sitting on the chair, which is a man sitting on the ground. It's stupid like that. Let's see. Inspired you to pour a nice glass of scotch and relax. Attaboy. Listen, I mean, you said scotch. I don't know if you're overseas or if you just like scotch. Here in the States, it's a holiday weekend. And sometimes it's all right to just kick back and relax and hang out with friends a little bit. It's okay to be unproductive sometimes. So, you know, cheers to that, my friend. What are your first 3 furniture projects you sold? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Okay. The first one that I can remember right off the jump is when I was in college. So I knew I wanted to be a furniture maker probably by the time I was like 19 or 20. But I didn't know how to get there. So I just started, but I grew up in the trade, so I knew how to make things. So I just started making things. And when I was in college, we had kind of this like, I want to call it like a small group, like advisee situation. A guy named Andy Horvath, who was just a sweet soul of a human being. And you know, he and I talked about that dream a lot. And he commissioned me to make him 2 bookshelves for his office, like floor standing bookshelves. And I will say this, man, like I tried my damnedest. Like I really, you know how like when you're that early in your career, or at least at that point in time, like, you know, YouTube didn't exist. Fine woodworking existed, but I didn't know that it was a thing. So you have to just like invent things. So like I invented a dado. Obviously I didn't invent a dado, but I invented it for me. And I made these 2 pine bookshelves, and first of all, they were trash, but like, you know, I made them to the best of my capacity. And I sold them to him for $200 total. And I felt like really guilty asking that much money. And I think I spent $250 on the pine to make them. So those are the first pieces that I remember selling. So there's growing pains, you know, for everybody. None of us know what we're doing when we start, man. All right. Let's see. Yours personal, the ones you want to get back. Oh, the ones I want to get back. I don't know if I have any that I want to get back. The ones that I don't like, the ones that I fall in love with, I typically keep now. And that's one of the benefits of making things on the internet for sure. And the ones that I've fallen in love with that I don't have are ones that have been largely trades with friends. Like Jenny has a mirror that I made out of apple, and it's carved in kind of this like crescent moon style, and then the mirror glass is round, so it's bound. It's just it's in my opinion a really beautiful piece. I traded Jenny that for the block plane that she engraved. So that's the type of thing where you're like, do I wish I had it? Sure, but I also get to have one of Jenny's pieces, and I'm really glad that Jenny has it. You know, that kind of thing. I don't know if I've sold any that I regret selling or wish I had. I don't know. I can't think of any off the top of my head, at least. I'm sure I'll think about it at like 3 a.m. and be like, oh yeah, there's that piece. Let's see. After staring at your cabinet behind you for so long, I made a similar one. Yeah, attaboy. Go get it. That thing, listen, that thing's been in a tank for me for a long time, and that was a really informative build. So that's a good one. Thinking of making where did it go? Thinking of making a small timber cabinet with bird's eye maple for the slats. Would you pair that with walnut or with something else? Oh, Lewis is asking the tough questions. You feel like walnut's too contrasty with the bird's eye, or for the timber? Just like maple and walnut. Like, where do you start? Maple and walnut it's a heavy hand. What would you pair? Like, bird's eye is so tricky.
The bird's eye figure is like a little bit warm, so I feel like something with like a reddish tone.
Like we did with the cherry? Yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear her. She was saying that because bird's eye has such a warm tone to it, it might pair more nicely with something warmer like cherry. Walnut and maple it's a lot. It is a lot. It can be done well, but this is where Lewis, I think we've talked about this. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I approach using multiple woods is there's your primary wood, which is probably 80% of the object. And in a secondary wood, when I employ it, is closer to an accent wood than it is like a true secondary wood. Probably no more than 10 to 15, maybe sneaking up on 20% of the object. And then whatever the accent wood is, if there's a tertiary wood, then, I mean, that's like a drop in the bucket. You know, that's like a little point of emphasis here or there. So with a timbre cabinet, that's tricky because visually, like, that's closer to 50-50, right? I don't know. I'd also be tempted to see what it looks like if the cabinet was maple, and, you know, like the whole thing was maple in the same tone, but the grain changes, you know? Yeah. Like maybe the pull is an accent. That's what I was thinking. Like, is the pull a different wood? Yeah. Or like if he does pinned rabbits, the pins are but yeah, like detail. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot, because bird's eye is already so busy. It's a tricky one, man. See, design's a hard game. There's no right answer, right? All right, we'll do one more question, then we'll tap out. Let's see. What are we working with here? I got super into 3D printing. I just wanted to go buy a 3D printer for my niece for Christmas. And it looked like the what is it? The Bamboo A1 Mini. That seemed like a good option. If you guys have any thoughts on that, I would love to hear them. Okay. All right, let's see. Should you plan for the inevitable color shift in walnut and maple pieces that happens from oxidization? Oxidation. All right. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I will die on this hill. Wood is a fickle mistress. It is lovely. It is beautiful. It is a wonderful thing to work with. And I have been working with it since I was in like 5th grade, and I've never fallen out of love with wood. But she's temperamental, and sometimes you just got to let it do what it do. everything will go to orange, and then after everything goes to orange, everything will go to like silver gray. That's just how wood works. I don't know of a way, and Larry, correct me if you think otherwise. I don't know of a way to keep a light wood from getting warmer. Assuming we're using an oil-based finish and not water-based finishes. Well, all you can do, here's my point. All you can do is prevent, like, if you're going to color a wood, you can only color it darker. Right? So you can prevent walnut from getting lighter in the immediate future. You can't prevent it from going gray.
Do you plan for it? Does that mean like you try to prevent it, or does that mean like?
I'm reading that as trying to prevent it. No? Or do you just plan for it? Or do you just say like?
I say if you buy something or want something made of wood, it's gonna behave like wood,
and that's ultimately my point, right? Again, I don't know if you guys can hear. She said, and I quote, "If you buy or want to make something made out of wood, wood is going to behave like wood." That's all there is to it, you know? So you let it ride, and you just accept that it's going to change. The human body changes. The human spirit changes. Wood changes. That's all there is to it. So it's part of what always makes me laugh about, and I don't necessarily want to pick on engineers right now, but I will, because that's the experience that I've had in both working for Lee Nielsen and as a teacher in craft schools. Engineers tend to want everything to be perfect to like the thousandths, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking it. What I'm saying is, wood is a thing where you can mill it to an absolute perfect thousandths, and then you sand it or you plane it and it's changed, or you come in the next day after a really humid night and it's changed, and or you encase it in acrylic to prevent it from moving for the next 50 years, and then you come in 2 weeks time and it's changed color. So like there's no wood going to wood. That's all there is to it. So all right, friends. All that said, it's 9:30. And I'm done with my bourbon. So Larry and I are going to finish up the next woodworking is hard video, which I was really glad. By the way, just so you guys know, Larissa being the wonderful, greatest friend on the planet that she is, we navigated the summer and fall as best we could, as best I could. And she was very patient in like we'll get back to the new channel when we get to it. That said, we are committing to doing monthly videos moving forward. So look forward to that. Buckle the F up. I feel like I did a pretty good job of not swearing during this live sesh. So it's gonna be a ride. But we got to finish out that video. And thank you guys again. Thank you for doing the raffle. Thank you for being a wonderful, wonderful supporters of my career. Genuinely, deeply grateful that I get to drink bourbon and say dumb shit on the internet for a living. It's beyond me that that's a thing that I get to do. And have a wonderful start to the holiday season. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, spend time with friends and family, and go make a thing. Be well, be warm and well fed, and I will see you guys on the flip. Make good decisions.